And now it's time for the Guest Expert Series. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to teach you guys today and, of course, answer any of your questions. I came in to speak about organic strategy and content, and it's one of the pillars of how I grow my business the way that I do. So I'm an online marketing strategist, mostly to coaches and healers, anyone with a service-based, personal branded virtual business. And I've been growing my business for many years organically and using Facebook ads. And what I found in 2020 is that organic strategy for me is as powerful, if not more powerful, than running Facebook ads. And I've been running my marketing agency for 5 years. And it wasn't until the end of 2019 where I was like, we're going to go all in hardcore with organic strategy. And I can tell you that the whole 2020 was my best year in business. And the Facebook ads that I'm running to my atomic offer are running and doing well. And the organic strategy that I'm using to run to my atomic offer is doing equally well, if not better. I think we are at 55% organic strategy for sales and 45% in my Facebook ads. So just knowing that, I hope that encourages you to realize like it doesn't have to be Facebook ads or nothing. It also doesn't have to be organic or nothing. If you can have both of these, you're going to have a really good base, a good foundation to combine both. And if you don't have the money for Facebook ads, you still can be successful organically. I don't think I started running ads on my atomic offer until 3 or 4 months ago. So it's doable. And just like any type of marketing, it's strategic. So if you have the strategy and you can start implementing it, then it comes to showing up, doing it, being consistent, and over time, building your following and getting people into your offers. So quality content attracts customers. It attracts clientele, your ideal target market to come in. So it's not cat memes. It's not jokes here or there. It's not like the picture of the food that you're eating, unless that has to do with your business. I do post all of these things on my wall, on my personal Facebook page. So I'm not saying don't do that and we're not going to have any fun, but if we're trying to attract customers, we have to have a really deep understanding of the content that we're putting out that's going to pull them in. And quality content also engages them. So not only do we want to pull them in, we want to keep them there. We want to keep them engaged. We want them to respond on our posts, start conversations in the comments back and forth, maybe take the conversation off of our feed and onto our messenger, maybe get on a phone call with them. Whatever it is that your objective is in your marketing, you first have to be able to engage them, and then you could take them on to that path, whatever that objective is. Quality content is really, really important. And I'd say it's the most important thing along with consistency. Posting quality content and being consistent over time is going to compound into amazing success for your business. So when we're talking about quality content, we're talking about building trust, showcasing our expertise and our authority. So I want you to think of whatever it is you do as you being the leader. And I want you to step into this feeling of I am a leader, leading a community of people who need what I have to offer. So if you think of yourself as the client and you think of people you follow online or things that you've purchased, then I want you to think, why did you go that way? Why did you buy that from that person? Are you signed up to their email list? Do you follow them on social media? Have they showcased their authority? And the answer probably is yes. They have showcased their authority. They have shown you the pain that they are able to solve for you. And you probably have the pain that they're there to solve, which means that they've connected with their target market well. And so whether it's through social media or reading blogs or watching live videos or going to a webinar or participating in a challenge or being on someone's email list, all of these pieces are part of content creation. You have to create them, and content is what you're putting out. But you don't have to do everything. Of course, the more you do, the more visible you'll become, but you really need to stick with one thing and stick to it so good and show up all the time consistently doing this one thing. And then when you master it, you can bring something else in. So it's all about focus. It's about being intentional. And that's what I teach in my program, Marketing with Intention, because every single thing that you're doing online needs to be done intentionally, not just like, oh yeah, I know I need to post, so I'm posting that. That's not intentional. That's not a plan. That's not a content plan. That's not a promotional plan. And that's not how you grow your business. So quality content attracts your customers, engages them, builds trust, and showcases authority. So make sure you're covering all 4 of those when you're building out great content. Now, to check if your content is valuable, it needs to relate to the 4 E's. And if you've taken any marketing class, this is pretty basic stuff. If you haven't, that's okay too. So the 4 E's are educate, entertain, entice, and engage. The 4 E's. And you want your content to do all 4 of those. So I want to break down what those are, and then I'm going to give you some examples of content and then open it up for questions, and then maybe even have a discussion if we get there. So to check if your content is valuable, you need to make sure that it educates. So the reason why we want to educate is because that is how you showcase your expertise. So what is it that you can show up and talk about forever? Probably whatever you're creating in your atomic offer, or your slow, your self-liquidating offer. What is it that you're creating, and how can you showcase that you are the expert? You are the authority. People should actually listen to you. You have to educate them. And sometimes people aren't ready to buy until they know all the ins and outs and whys. So that education component sometimes is that first step before we even get people to like us or want our stuff. We have to first explain to them why they need it. A lot of times people come to us because of what they want, not necessarily what they need. And so it's your job as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, guru, expert, authority, to figure out what people actually need based off what they're telling you of what they want. So a perfect example is people come to me because they want to fill their one-on-one calendars and their group programs. They're spinning their wheels. They're going through this feast and famine cycle, and they don't know how to get out of it. And so they come to me and they say, Melissa, can you run Facebook ads for me? I need more clients. And then I talk to them and I look inside their business and I figure, okay, what do you have going on? What's working? What's not working? And what I realized for like 95% of them is they don't need Facebook ads. They're not ready for Facebook ads. They actually need organic marketing strategy first and then Facebook ads, but they don't know that when they come to me. So I have to decipher, like kind of decode what they're saying. They say to me, I want Facebook ads. Why? You have to ask questions. Why? Because I need more clients. And then you can go back and go, all right, they want Facebook ads, but what they really need is foundational marketing systems in place and start building their organic strategy. So when people come to you, what do they want and what do they need? And that's a good education piece, because now I can write content about why I don't think you need Facebook ads yet, or why I think you need foundational marketing systems in your business, or what are foundational marketing systems. So there's a lot of information that I can teach to educate people so that before they come to me to buy my service or to get on a call with me or to do anything with me, they now are in the mindset of they want and need what I actually offer. So I've actually taught them to go through that path on their own. So by the time they get to me, I don't have to explain it. They're already ready. So education, your content needs to educate. A good example for, let's say, the health industry is meal prepping. They always talk about meal prepping. Prep all your meals on Sunday night for the week. Now when you're hungry, you just grab and go, and you're grabbing healthy food, and it's easy. You spend 2 hours on Sunday and your whole week is set. Now, if someone doesn't know what meal prepping is, or they feel stressed out about meal prepping and overwhelmed about it, they're not going to get on a call with a health person who's like, yay, she's talking about meal prepping. I have to get on a call. Because what they need is the support, the encouragement, the understanding of the nutrients, strategies like meal prepping, maybe a workout plan, but what they want is to get healthy. So they'll call and say, hey, I want to get healthy. And then you have to educate them on all those pieces. All of those pieces are components for your content to educate. We're going to talk about what is meal prepping? Why do you want to do it? How is it helpful? And that's one piece. We could talk about how you need to have a schedule or a routine or a support group. All these things are different ideas on one piece of content, which is your education. The next is entertainment. people come on social media because they want to be entertained. They want to get away from their everyday life and sit doing nothing online, scrolling, reading things. They come for entertainment. It's just like reading a magazine or watching TV. We go on to social media. So if your content isn't entertaining, people will skip over it. Your content needs to make people excited to come and watch it that first time, but also to come back again and again and again, and maybe even have you as like one of the people they follow, so their posts show up into your feed all the time. So it needs to be entertaining. That means you need to bring your personality. So if you're a funny person, make jokes. If you're a serious person, talk about something that you think about a certain way. For me, entertaining, I'm not very entertaining, I have to say. But I am a single mom of 2 kids, and I do like weeks worth of laundry in one batch, and then I fold it all out. And sometimes it's clean and it's not folded and it's sitting in a pile. And I take a picture and I post it on social media, and I'm like, who can relate to this? So a lot of that is open-ended questions, getting my following to engage with me. But it is entertaining because now you get to see the behind the scenes of the mess that I have of laundry I need to fold. And there are things like that that you can also um, relate to your audience in ways that will feel entertaining to them, or like they can just bond with you. The next thing is it needs to be enticing. So if you are going to promote something for your content, you don't want to be like, hey guys, buy my stuff. Or I have a complete content strategy toolkit. You need it. Click here. Nobody wants to see that on their feed. You want to entice them. So you could ask questions like, are you struggling with posting content that converts into clients? Are you struggling with having a strategy, a clear strategy of your content that makes very easy to post all the time, or having the right words to say? So you have to actually know the pain point of your target market, and then ask them questions to make them feel into that emotion and entice them to want more. Or you might leave a cliffhanger at the end, like, and stick around, tomorrow I'll be sharing blah 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 blah. And that's enticing. That makes people want to come back. And the last thing is engaging. Engagement is the most important thing because engagement is the currency of Facebook. If you want to think of Facebook as a way to like exchange money or whatever, the currency, Facebook's currency is engagement. The more engagement you get, the more of your things will be shared in other people's newsfeed. And Facebook knows this with the algorithm, that if 60 people like my last post, then it's engaging. And Facebook wants their users to enjoy their experience on the platform. And that's the way they figure that out, if they're enjoying it or not, is based on the engagement. So if 60 people like my last post, I have alerted Facebook that what I have to say is engaging. And now they're going to put all of my next posts in everybody else's newsfeed, because I've showed the platform I post good content because 60 people came here and said so. And so now the platform wants to reward me because I'm helping the platform. If you think of it this way, I'm helping engage their users. So now they're going to share more content of mine in those people's newsfeed. And the way you engage people is by actually knowing who's following you. Who are these people? What do they have in common? What are they going through? And what do they like? So if you're brand new, you're not going to know exactly what they like, but over time posting, you'll get to know your audience more. For example, if I posted a picture of my kids, which now they're teenagers and they've told me, do not put me on social media. So I'm not allowed to post pictures of my kids anymore, sadly. But I know that if I'm able to post pictures of my kids in the past, I can get 200 comments easy, or 200 likes, no problem. My audience loves pictures of my kids. And I know that if I post a picture of me and my dog, when my dog's being really cute, it's going to get a lot more engagement than almost anything else. So it's good to mix up your content too and know what your audience engages with. Also, open-ended questions are really good, where people get to make a choice, this or this. Or I posted in my group yesterday, I believe, tell me what you do in 5 words or less. Almost everybody responded. It's like, exciting, it's entertaining, it's engaging, it's not educational. So when you have these 4 E's, educate, entertain, entice, and engage, I don't want you to think that every post needs to do all 4 of these things. I want you to think of your content strategy overall should have components of this in all different areas. Some of them will have 2 of the E's, some of them will have 1 of the E's, but they don't all need to have all 4. I just want you to think about, like, does this content piece have a purpose? What is the value that I'm bringing? Am I going to educate someone? Am I going to entertain them? Is this enticing? Or are we just going to flat out engage? And you can help with all of this. So even if you post an educational piece of content, if someone comments, you can be engaging in the comments and start conversations. And then people who buy things from you are people who know you, who like you, and trust you. You've built a relationship with them. And so I want you to think of your content as the catalyst to get people to know, like, and trust you. And then you take that next step and build that relationship with them. And now you can get them to buy. And this is all done from my personal Facebook page, which might seem a little scary for some of you, but I'm not saying run your business on your personal page. I am saying run your personal life on your personal page, and don't forget to talk about your business, because that's part of your life too. Also, Facebook will show your posts in your personal page for free to everyone that's following you. When you go to your business page, Facebook will show those posts when you put some ad spend budget behind it. So it is important to have a business page. It is important to have a personal page. And my expertise is encouraging you to post in both places. So I want to open it up for questions, and I can go much deeper into all of these things, but I thought for the first time, let's start basic and then open up for questions, and then you can get some personalized help. So unmute yourself if you have a question, I guess. Is that how you want to do it? Or you know what, in the chat. Oh, there's already questions in the chat.
Yeah, I think since there's just a handful of people on the call, if you guys want to unmute and ask questions. Melissa, that was so good. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. You know, it's funny because what I wanted to talk about today, I only thought of about 40 minutes before coming on today. And I'm saying that not to tell you, like, I don't have my stuff put together and I can't figure it out, but to say, like, everything you're creating is something that you should be able to talk about quickly and easily as well. So whatever you're passionate about, talk about it online, go live, just write a few notes and go live. All right, questions.
So good.
I have a question. And that's got to do with time management. As solopreneurs, we are, I guess, time limited. And before we are ready to maybe hire a virtual assistant of some sort that could help us with other admin stuff that still runs in the background, what are your ideas about maybe repurposing some of the social posts that we're doing and making our lives a little bit easier? Because to me, right now, and that's why I got my diary out, one of my main pain points right now is that I'm not showing up on social media consistently because I don't have the time.
Yes. So not having the time is a legitimate issue that most entrepreneurs have. So to be successful, you have to structure your day out in a way that allows you to show up consistently. So if that means that you can do 30 minutes or an hour a day, put it on your calendar and say, in this window, I'm doing nothing else but insert the blank. So if it's content strategy, so you touched on 2 things, the time management and the repurposing. And repurposing does help with time management. But before we get to repurposing, you have to commit to showing up online every single day, literally every day. I mean, I post twice a day, Monday through Friday, once on Saturday and once on Sunday. And there are days that I don't feel like showing up. And there are days that I'm just like, not posting today. So it's okay to have those days once in a while. But for the most part, on your calendar, actually schedule it in. And just like you would show up for an appointment with a client, and if someone knocks on your door and they're like, hey, can you come to lunch? And you're like, no, sorry, I have an appointment right now. You're not going to cancel that appointment. I want you to feel the same way about your own appointment with yourself. If posting content is like a scheduled time on your calendar, if someone says, hey, can you go do lunch? You say, no, I have it on my calendar. I'm showing up for me and my business, so I can't. So to be really intentional with your time is important. Now, for repurposing, it's the best thing you can do for many reasons. One, it saves you time. But secondly, you want your content to speak to the same people about the same things over and over again. You want to sound like a broken record. So when you repurpose your content, you're actually doing a good thing because you're reinforcing what it is you have to say. Marketing is all about repetition. Marketing is, you've said this to me 40 times, now I'm going to buy the thing. You know, you walk into a store and you might not buy this thing. You might look at it. You come back the next week. You might look at it. You come back the next week. All right, I bought it. It's that repetition. So if you can think of your content as, come up with a list of things that your content solves, problems that your content solves. What does your content solve for your ideal target market? And it should be only about like 8 to 10 things. And every piece of content you put out should be in alignment with what those things are. And so when you're repurposing your content, you could post the same things on different social media platforms, although not at the same time, not the same day. Or you can take a piece of content and convert it into another piece of content. So repurposing your content helps you get your brand out there again and again and again. Also, you're not a content machine and you don't need to be. You need to be focusing on your zone of genius. So another reason to repurpose is because ideally you're having new waves of people come into your world all the time, new people who found you, new followers. And so if you're posting things again and again, these new followers are seeing it for the first time. And also people aren't necessarily seeing every single post that you post. So you'll notice on my Facebook page, I might go live on Wednesday, and whether you caught the live or not, I'm going to transcribe it, turn it into a 250 word post, and you might see it on my Facebook page on Friday. Now, some people come on Wednesday and they see the live and don't see the text version on Friday, and they're like, oh, good live, and move on. Some people will only see the Friday post on the text and they'll read it and they'll say, cool. And some people will see both, and now marketing is working because it's repetition. So you can always repurpose. You can take a slide deck for a presentation, you can turn it into an infograph. You can take a video, you can transcribe it into a blog. You can read a blog, take all the notes in your head, and then just go live somewhere and talk about what you just read in the blog. You can do different angles on new blogs. So back to the weight loss thing, if you say, you write a blog like the 5 reasons women can't lose weight, you can write another blog next month, the 3 mistakes you're doing now that won't get you lean, or the 6 best ways to feel good fast. And all of these are really the same thing. We're just hitting it at different angles. So that's, I think, repurposing really important.
I love that. As you've been talking, and I kind of have an idea going on in the back of my head. I'm wondering if this is something that you guys might be interested in doing. One of my biggest goals for 2021 is to like take, be very consistent with my own organic marketing strategies. I love what you're saying about creating content. And for us, we did challenges this year. That was like our primary form of organic content, if you will. But I want to take it a step further. And so Maria, I feel your pain. I am like incredibly time crunched most of the time. And so whenever I'm feeling stuff like that, like I need a format, like I need a system. That's what I turn to. I create systems for myself that I can just like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, gonna knock it out. And so this is something that I've been creating for myself. And I'm wondering if you guys would want to do, maybe I could go live for like 10 minutes a day or something and just say, all right, this is what I'm working on. This is what I did today. Here's the format that I've created for that. Would you find that helpful? Like if we planned our content together, because I need to get this done too. So
yes,
let me know.
please.
Do y'all want to do this together? Should we plan our content for 2021?
I will tell you, Bonnie,
Mastermind.
in January. Oh, sorry. What, Maria?
It's almost like a mastermind if we all go together and have this brainstorm.
Yeah.
Bonnie, you mentioned this to me many, many months ago. And January 15th, I'm having a content planning workshop because you mentioned it to me and you gave me the idea. And
I do remember that.
And you said to me, you're like, I love this complete content strategy toolkit. Can we like do it together? You should do it with us. And I'm like, that's a good idea. A lot of people have that problem. They just don't have a lot of time to figure it out.
Yeah.
Or while they're figuring it out, like they take the time and then they don't know what they're supposed to be
I
doing in
think
that
because
time.
we feel like it's stuff that like you have to work on it every single day, when really like you put a lot of the brain power like I'm planning to plan my whole year, and part of the Atomic Offer program we had to create your map, your, I think we call it the $1,000,000 map. That should be the format, like that's the foundation of your content strategy. So like, you know, the steps that you take people through to get them through your transformation. And like Melissa was saying, like you should have frequently asked questions. Like each one of those steps is like a pillar of content that you can be creating and talking about for the whole year. And so one of the first things that I'm planning to do is take my map and just not like go through every little step, hear all the questions that people have about these different steps. And I feel like we could probably get an outline at least for a good long while, right, Melissa? Like maybe for...
So I plan my content out in the agency once a quarter. So what I do is the very last week of the quarter, or 2 weeks before the quarter ends, I will not take any coaching calls, client prospect calls, none of that. The whole week is just me and content. And I'm planning out everywhere. I'm planning my group, my business page, my personal page, my podcast, live videos, like blogs, everything. It's intense. If it's too much for you, then I'd say let's do it monthly. If you can plan your content monthly, you are going to feel amazing during the month because content is done, out of sight, out of mind. All you have to do is show up and post and go serve your clients.
I think my challenge is, like you said, because we need to post quality content, it takes forever for me to get that done because everything I look at is like, oh, well, that's not what I really want to see. Let me see what else I can find. But, doing that, you just waste all that time and then it's too late. It's like, oh, I missed it. The day is
Well,
gone.
if you have a folder on your computer or even just screenshot things while you're scrolling that gives you ideas and gives you that inspiration, put all that in a folder. So when you're sitting down to write your content, now you open up the folder and you write. Or if you're the type of person who feels really inspired in the moment and that's when you have to do it, then like me, that happens to me too. I'm like, oh, I have an idea. I need to execute right now. And I sit down and I do it. That's when I feel the most inspiration. So that's why content batching is so important, so that when you're feeling inspiration, you can knock out 3 to 5 posts and keep that in a library. So when you're not feeling inspired, you can just pull from something and post.
What do you recommend for scheduling in terms of that? Because recently I've heard about platforms that can do everything in one go, like Publer or Buffer. That's why I was trying to find the names. And I have not tried any of those, of course. I've only tried Planoly and Hootsuite and other things like that. So
yeah, I used to do Planoly for my Instagram and I used to do Buffer for my Facebook, but the truth is I don't use a scheduler. So Facebook has its own native scheduler inside of its platform, and Facebook will reward any user that uses their stuff. So if you're going to use Buffer, your posts are not going to be shown to as many people as if you were to just use the Facebook scheduler, which literally does the same thing. You post the content, you say the time and day you want it to go, and it's done. It works in your group and it works on your business page. It does not work on your personal page. Buffer a long time ago worked on my personal page, and that's when I used it for my morning quotes. But Facebook made a change. So none of those schedulers are going to work on a personal page anyway. So if you're going to post on your personal page, you have to actually be there.
And do you recommend having stuff, say, on a Google Doc and then copying and pasting across with the Canva images and stuff like that across?
Yes.
And,
but you don't need Canva images for everything. You really don't. And also on Facebook, they have the colored background. So if you're under a certain amount of characters and you put up a colored background, that's going to work really well too. There's a question here. What if the engaging post was not specifically for your niche? Can you elaborate on that, Maria?
You answered it while you were talking. It was when you said, like, recently I posted about, well, I had a kidney transplant about 6 years ago. And of course I was celebrating those 6 years. Yeah, it is a little bit of a wow. And it got hundreds of likes on it. So of course those people are now seeing my posts more, but I didn't quite know. And you answered it and it's like, yeah, it's okay, just go for it. That's
Yeah,
what you
it's good and it's helpful. So if you, when I post family pictures, it's not usually my clients that are loving the pictures. It's like family friends that are loving it and boost it up. But it's fine because the next post still tells Facebook the last post was really important. So we're going to make this post important too. And if you're consistent with it, you're going to always have these high engagement numbers up and down and up and down. And so it will work in the long term. Okay. That's all the questions in the chat. Does anybody have any other questions?
And I see that you joined us. I just want to say welcome to you. Let me see if I had, I think you've hit all the questions. I'm not sure that any actually came through on the event.
Is this helpful to you guys in general? It is. Is this helpful in regards to the product you're creating right now? It is. Okay.
Yes, yes, it is. Thank you.
Yeah. If you're in groups where your target market is, that's another really great place to share your offer once you're done creating your offer. But it is a really great place to start building relationships too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions for Melissa, thank you so much for that training.
Of course.
That was awesome.
Yeah, this is just like a sliver of a training. So if we need to go deeper or into a specific next time, or, based on where you are in your creation journey, I've got tons of information I can share with you. And if you have questions that come up, there is a post in the group. I think it's called content strategy or organic strategy. I'm not sure what it's called, but find it and write your comment under it. And I will go back in there and respond to you if you have a question.
And I'm going to put some brain power behind how we can start working on our content strategies together for 2021, because it really does relate to your atomic offer. Like your offer it's answering that problem, it's answering a pain problem, and it is like essentially the welcome mat into your other offers. And so they all really go hand in hand. So Melissa, I might ask you what you think about the plan that I made for myself in creating this. And if you approve, then maybe we'll run through it together as a group, if you guys would find that helpful.
Sure. And I want to say one more thing about the offer that you're creating. The content pieces that you're putting on your page could be little slivers of information from that. So when I'm like lost for content, I'll go look up at a worksheet that I've made years ago and I'm like, oh, this is great. Now I'm just going to talk about this worksheet. And there's your whole entire live video or content piece.
Yeah. I mean, your content, your offers answer a lot of questions. And so like just knowing what those questions are, like those can be little snippets that you create content around.
I recently started using Descript. It's a little a transcription service, and it's the cheapest one out there right now. It starts with 3 hours free lifetime. So if you are going live on Facebook, download the video and it will transcribe it to a blog post.
I think Dustin actually just bought that last week for us.
It's
That's perfect.
Awesome.
Or if you do it the other way around and you have a blog, you can pull that up and then just use that as like your guide for going live. I usually do it that way.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Descript. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here, and good luck with creating your content, your toolkits or whatever, your atomic offers. And like I said, if you have questions, just pop them into the group and I'll be there.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Melissa. If there's anything at all that you guys need, please feel free to reach out. Okay. All right.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.